So I'm on a Zoom call with Sam, and he's telling me about an argument he's having with his wife. She just doesn't get it, he says. We're talking about this thing I know happened, she told me about it, this hookup with this guy before we met. And he does say the word, like hookup. Sam said to her, was it just once? Is that how you used to get off? And she said it again, look, it was one night. It didn't mean anything. And he looks at me. It was in a car park, pissed, giving it away in a car park. I said to her, why did you tell me about it? This is killing me. Well, why did you keep asking about it then, she said. Quite a bit going on there. It's a very retroactive jealousy kind of argument, and it's horrible for both partners. It's horrible for their relationship too if it keeps going on. Interesting that when guys struggle with their partner's past, it's the casual stuff that's such a trigger, such a proverbial red rag to the bull. Now, I'm making a generalization here, but no guy has ever come to me and said, I've got this raging retroactive jealousy about how much my partner loved her ex-husband, or how much fun she had with the father of her children. It's pretty much always the casual stuff. The hookups, the one-night stands, the sexting, the flirting, etc. So it doesn't help being reminded that it meant nothing. But I do get where partners are coming from, because it feels like that should help. And it's tempting for me to say to Sam, well, what did this guy get compared to what you get? Love, companionship, a home together, a family, a future together, compared to 20 minutes in a car park or in the back of a club or whatever. But then I am holding up the red rag. That's the problem, he'll say, and it really feels like it is. I think there are multiple reasons why past casual sex can feel so difficult to process for guys. Some of it is evolved. It's our instinct to find a partner and retain their attention. And now that feels under threat. Or maybe feeling like we need to get a return on our emotional investment in a partner. Others got a return with no emotional investment, that kind of thing. Our sexual performance and comparisons with other men is a really common vulnerability too. We want to be the best she's had. Now, I'm not excusing or justifying these questions or accusations and shaming someone for their past, but it's all in the mix of how retroactive jealousy develops and how these compulsions come about. Women do experience retroactive jealousy too, and it can be about ex-girlfriends and casual sex. But it can be about ex-wives too. Women have vulnerabilities about their sexual appeal and how good they are in bed too, but bonding and emotional connection, love and attraction comes more into it. Again, I know I'm generalizing here, stereotyping. Men will say to me, I'm not happy learning about my new girlfriend's past, but at least I managed to nail it. We went all night that first time. I really wowed her. Women don't tend to say this. Women focus more on lasting appeal and being as attractive and interesting as the exes. Talking with Sam, we started with a so what's the problem approach, because there clearly is a problem, but can you define it a bit? What does knowing about this casual car park event call into question for you? He thinks about it. Well, I feel like I'm being mugged, taken for a ride. Just one night, but how many other nights or scumbag men? I keep it going. And what would that mean? Well, it would mean I'm the type of guy who settles for it, he says. And he pauses. A lower grade, lower standard guy. There's a big part of his retroactive jealousy story. This narrative about his wife's past, it leads into this conclusion about what that says about him. The casual car park aspect means I might be a chump if I put up with it. What came first? The narrative about himself or learning about his wife's past? There's a question, but we won't go there right now. With Sam, we won't get into whether it's true or not either. I won't say, oh Sam, look, you're not a chump. Look how she chooses to be with you. Look how honest she is with you. It's tempting, it's probably true, but it won't help. It won't stick. For now, we'll look at how his retroactive jealousy story, this narrative, developed. Not through his life story or his childhood, just the reasoning that comes up with this obsessive doubt about his wife's past and about him. And how there's a kind of logic that cherry picks specific facts. Car park, scumbag even, but it ignores other facts years ago and all of the here and now of his relationship. And the values and the shoulds and shouldn'ts that get mixed into this story too. Shouldn't give it away, should feel bad about it now, etc. Now we won't debate or argue with any of this, but let's see how the story formed, and then maybe some more understanding of how it's taken such a grip on our imagination and our emotions. And then maybe some exposure work on that too. Is there a takeaway for partners here? Like, don't say it didn't mean anything, even when it didn't. Well, no, because that is the objective truth. And you don't need to adapt that or apologise for your past, of course. But understand why a guy struggling with retroactive jealousy will keep pushing back on this. You're not at fault here, but there are better ways to have these conversations together. See my video about that, watch it together ideally. And for you, if you're battling with retroactive jealousy and these thoughts about the past, I hope this helps identify why casual is such a trigger and why sometimes partners don't fully understand this retroactive jealousy logic. It's not on them to change their truth or be apologetic for their pasts, it's on you to address this rumination and obsessing about it. And that can start with some therapy or self-help to understand how your retroactive jealousy story developed and how we can start to change that story, because we really can. And then there's less need to ask or get that reassurance, which is quite a shift. I hope this is helpful, and thank you for watching.